Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Hi friends, a lovely morning here at Dholi on the outskirts of Bhubaneswar. I am Jitu Mishra, a co-founder of Sarana Education and Cultural Services, Bhubaneswar. Welcome to yet another episode of Stories of Odisha channel. Today we are going to go through a journey in the city of Bhubaneswar, not through the temples but through the Buddhist civilizations. All of you know about Bhubaneswar. Bhubaneswar is widely known as the city of temples. Here you find 300 majestic temples built in the Kalingan school of temple architecture. And Bhubaneswar is also celebrated as Kamar Kshetra. It's one of the holy pilgrimages for the entire Hindu fraternity. And lot of people come here to do pilgrimage, to do parikrama around the holy Bindu Sagar, and then visit the temples for darshans, various temples, Hindu temples of darshans. It is the land of Lord Shiva. But much before the rise of Bhubaneswar as a major center of Saivism, Bhubaneswar, all of you know, was a major center of Buddhism. This was the place where I am now. One of the most important events in the entire history of humanity took place, the Kalinga War, which had killed hundreds and thousands of people. The war was fought between Emperor Ashoka of Magadha and the armies of Kalinga in remote 3rd century BC. And this elephant is very close to me, close to my heart. This is a moving image, one of the finest and earliest in the entire Indian subcontinent. Carved out from live rock, this represents Lord Buddha. You know about King Suddhodama and Queen Mayavati. They were ruling Kapilavastu, which was a kingdom in the Himalayan region, in the Tarai area of the present day Nepal. And Mayadevi was pregnant. So during one night when she was sleeping, in her apartment, in her chamber in the palace, she saw a dream, a white elephant entering to her womb. And there is a forecast that either he would become a Jasasvi king, a king of immense fame, having so much of power, and he would be ruling all the quarters of the earth, or he would become a world announcer, show the path of compassion to the rest of the humanity. So the queen was disturbed when, in the next morning, when she revealed the dream to her husband Suddhodama. So immediately Suddhodama invited, all the sages, monks, intellectuals, teachers of his kingdom to the royal court and asked them to interpret the dream. So all of them came to a conclusion that the son, who would Mayavati would give birth, would become a world announcer. Hi, hi friends. It's a lovely morning, and behind me is the Dholi Santistupa, which was built by the Japanese Nippon Sangha in 1970s at the place where the famous Kalinga War was fought. So in front of me is the river Daya, so which we are going to see now. And this entire area, this entire landscape was a major Buddhist civilizations in early historic times. Hi friends, this is the Sirini Daya river, which is flowing on the outskirts of Bhubaneswar. And this river is just not a river, it has characters, it has stories. Going back to the time of Emperor Ashoka in 3rd century BC. You know, when Ashoka fought the Kalinga War, the infamous Kalinga War, it is said in the local myth that the water of the river, the river, had turned red, and that was because of the because of the blood of the hundreds and thousands of people who were killed during the Kalinga War, and the whole river had become turned red. So Emperor Ashoka, after seeing the plight of people, so many people have died, hundreds and thousands of people had died, hundreds and thousands of women had become widows, many children had become, thousands and thousands of children had become orphans. So his heart felt deeply touched, he became compassionate. He climbed to the crest of the hill which you see here, and there he declared himself that he is not going to fight any war then after. So that was the end. So Ashoka became, the cruel Ashoka became the Dharmashoka Ashoka, the compassionate Ashoka, and then on he started working for the welfare of the people. He became a great emperor, not only of Odisha or India, but of the entire world. Friends, Ashoka had an elder brother. His name was Tisa. He was a Buddhist monk. He had made Bhubaneswar, the present day Bhubaneswar, as his retreat. He was engaged in teachings of Buddha's ideals among the common people. And it is believed that he had played a very important role in the life of Ashoka post the Kalinga War. Friends, after the battle of Kalinga, Ashoka was restless. He did not know what to do next. Before his eyes there were so many dead bodies. So many women had become widows, so many children had become orphans. He wanted to change his heart. Of course, his heart had felt now with full of compassion. But he did not know the path. How to spread the idea of humanism, how to spread the idea of love among his fellow people, the prajas. So he came to Tisa and sought his advice. Tisa said, if a king wins one battle, his desire would be winning so many battles. So there is not going to be any end. So desire or crave are the main cause of suffering, human suffering. If you can win over desire or crave, you will become a king, an emperor of compassion, an emperor of love. And that would be the greatest service to the humanity. So that moved Ashoka's heart forever. he got the path. So Ashoka, after coming under his influence, had not only adopted Buddhism but also had played a very key role, had played a very important role, spreading the idols of Buddha in the rest of the world where he had connections. He had sent missionaries to Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, and also Greece in the West. Not Greece, West Asia in the West. Friends, I am in front of one of the most valuable historical documents, historical sources in the entire world. So these are Dholi edicts. These are engraved on live rock by Emperor Ashoka after the infamous Battle of Kalinga in 3rd century BC. So these 14 rock edicts which talk about Ashoka's Dhamma policies, his welfare measures taken by him for the humanity, respect for people of all races, of all religious groups in his kingdom, in his empire, non-violence, act of non-violence, non-killing of animals and birds for human consumptions, welfare measures taken by him, for the pilgrimage, by providing resting places on the highways. So all are documented here, and you find the edicts of Emperor Ashoka throughout his kingdoms. So these are written in Brahmi scripts and Pali languages. Friends, this is Bhaskareshwar temple. This is very unusual shape among all Kalingan temples in Bhubaneswar. Why? The temple resembles a chariot and it is built on a high plinth which is called Jagati. So there is a secret behind it. Here actually Emperor Ashoka had erected a pillar similar to what you have seen at Bodh Gaya, Loria Nandangad, Sarnath, Rajgir, Vaishali, all places, the places associated with the life of Buddha. Here also Emperor Ashoka had erected actually a pillar of massive size, and this pillar, when Buddhism declined, was converted into a Shivalinga. So because of its unusual height, the architects of medieval Kalinga, they had to come up with an alternative idea of temple constructions. So this is how the Bhaskareshwar temple was built, which was built over to shrine the Ashokan pillar, the converted Ashokan pillar into a Shivalinga. Friends, immediately after the Battle of Kalinga, Emperor Ashoka was deeply moved. He had become an emperor of compassion. So as a part of his holy duty, he had erected pillars in different sites, different places associated with the life of Buddha, such as Vaishali, Sarnath, Rajgir, Bodh Gaya, Kapilavastu. And in all these places you will find tall pillars, Mauryan pillars, which were built of Chunar sandstones. So Chunar is a place near Varanasi where you have the finest sandstone, which appears like a polished mirror. So Chunar sandstone was extensively used for the erection of pillars, and the idea of pillar, according to some historians, some archaeologists, has Greek origin. where it used to be erected as pillars of victory. But in India, we have also a very ancient tradition of erecting pillars, even before Ashoka. So earlier there used to be bamboo, pillars, which were replaced by Chuna sandstone pillars immediately after the Kalinga battle. So this pillar at Bhaskareshwar, of course, is not built of Chuna sandstone. It is of local sandstone, and it was converted into a Shivalinga after the Buddhism declined from here. Here also we have, in the surroundings of Bhaskareshwar temple, we have discovered, archaeologists have discovered railing cascades going back to the time of Emperor Ashoka or immediately after him in the early centuries of the Christian era. So these are now exhibited at Odisha State Museum. Besides Bhaskareshwar temple, there is a place, the Rameswar temple, which is also known as the Mausima temple, where you have a tank attached to it is called Ashoka Jhara. Again, it is believed that this was erected during the tank was excavated at the time of during the time of Emperor Ashoka. So that's why it is called Ashoka Jhara. And from there also a huge size of bell capital was discovered, which is now displayed at Odisha State Museum. Friends, just behind me you can see a shallow depression. So this depression is within the complex of Bhaskareshwar temple, and this depression is where archaeologists like K.C. Panigrahi, late archaeologists like K.C. Panigrahi, had discovered the remnants of the railing cascades, which was around a Buddhist stupa erected here. We don't know how big was the Buddhist stupa, but it was an important Buddhist stupa since the pillar is also not very far from here. So both of them were erected in the same complex. So this Buddhist stupa is now gone, but the railing cascades which were discovered by late K.C. Panigrahi, who was an eminent archaeologist, are now exhibited at Odisha State Museum. So this shows that how Bhubaneswar, or this entire area of Bhubaneswar, the present day Bhubaneswar, the old town, and the area around Dholi and Sisupalgarh was a very rich Buddhist civilizations, and how Ashoka had deeply involved himself, in transforming Buddha, this place into a major Buddhist civilizations.
Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sandinthiko Akaliko Ehipasiko Paneko Pancantang Vekitammo Vinyuiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Sava